Hi everybody, my name is Sarah and I have prepared a Pecha Kucha presentation for you guys today. The topic is dairy farm basics, something that I am familiar with because it's something that I also grew up with, and I thought I'd share it with all of you today. So to start off, I want to introduce my brother. He's actually the owner of the farm that I'm featuring in this presentation today. It's a small dairy farm in northern Pennsylvania, and he does not know that I'm using this photo, so please don't tell him. Now, a typical day on a dairy farm usually begins very early, usually between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning, because we have to get up and get around and get to the barn so we can get the cows milked, even on holidays, even on Christmas morning. The main commodity of a dairy farm is to have cows that produce milk. And to produce good milk, cows need to be fed good food. So one of the main aspects of a dairy farm is to grow crops. The main crops grown on a dairy farm are corn and hay, but other crops can be grown such as soybeans or oats or wheat, and all of these are used to produce grain, silage, and dry hay for cows to eat. Now, hay, for example, is an important part of a cow's diet, but it's a rather lengthy process to make good dry hay. You first have to cut it, and then when it's dry, you have to rake it, and then bale it, and then store it to make sure that it stays dry. Now, when hay is baled, round bales are popular, but they can also be baled into small or large square bales. Round bales are typically 4 to 6 feet in diameter, and they tend to have lower maintenance and are easier to store than other types. Now, after a field has been baled into round bales, they must be gathered up and transported to usually a central location that's close to where they're going to be used for the cow's food. Now, one of the ways that round bales are stored is through wrapping. And round bales can either be wrapped individually, so if you ever see a bunch of giant marshmallows in a field, those are wrapped hay bales, or they can also be stored in a long line shown here. Growing and harvesting and storing crops is a very lengthy and time-consuming process, but it's all worth it to make these guys happy because cows eat a lot of food. Usually a full-grown cow can eat around 100 pounds of food every day. There are many different breeds of dairy cows, but the most popular is called the Holstein, which is the black and white one. Holsteins are known for giving the highest volume of milk. An average Holstein can easily give between 80 and 100 pounds of milk a day. Now, the life of a cow, they have an easy life. The food's brought to them, their poop's taken away from them. They get everything brought to them that they would need. Most barns also have country music playing in the background, and they just kind of hang out and make milk and be happy. An important part of every cow's life cycle, though, is to be a mama, because only mama cows are the ones that give milk. Cow pregnancies are very similar to human pregnancies. The terms are about 9 months, and they can give a baby every year. Now, one of the things that cows like to do when they're getting ready to have a baby is to go find a secluded area to give birth to their little babies. And this photo is an example of a different type of dairy cow called a brown Swiss. Now, after the babies are born, it usually only takes them about an hour to get up and around and on their own feet. And their first target is usually mama's udder so that they can get their first taste of real milk. Now, because mama's milk is an important commodity for the farm itself, the calves are usually weaned away from their mother almost immediately. Then they are bottle fed and then eventually trained to drink milk out of a bucket for about the first 3 months of their life. Now, after 3 months, the calves are gradually weaned off of milk altogether, and then they start eating and drinking the same stuff as the grown-ups get to eat and drink. And then at about 2 years of age, they are old enough to have calves of their own and start this cycle over again. Now, dairy farming is a very time-intensive operation. Cows are milked twice a day, every single day of the year, in the morning and at night at the same time. Almost leaves no time for fun. However, most farms are found in the country, and one thing that makes the country awesome is the air is pure and the scenery is always nice. There might not be a lot of people around, but sometimes that can be a good thing. So, thank you for watching my Pecha Kucha video about the basics of dairy farming. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something from it. And always remember to thank a farmer and also to drink your milk.